Americans, we are consumed with getting more for less. In fact, that little phrase has become the slogan for many companies who are trying to get our business. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. How we can get our children's choirs to become more excellent while we as the directors are actually doing less. The first thing to remember, the director does not have to do it all. I spent years of my life as a children's choir director feeling like I was the bottom line for everything. I was in charge of teaching the kids their music, teaching the kids their choreography. I was in charge of costumes and music games and snacks and stage sets, all of it. I was having to be Superwoman, and I was not doing a very good job of it at all. I think that I was probably the right person to actually teach the music, but I didn't know how to dance, I didn't know how to sew, and I burnt just about everything I made. Then I got smart and realized that I did not have to do it all. There were people in my congregation whose strengths were my weaknesses, and there were people in my congregation who had a completely different skill set than I did. They were very talented in areas that I had no talent at all. Something that's great to remember is that your helpers in children's choir, they do not need to be musical. Rather than having a staff full of people with the same skill set as you, surround yourself with different talents. Your church is full of people with different talents and different skill sets as yourself, and people love to do what they are good at. So tap into that. Tap into your congregation's strengths. And as you tap into their strengths, you will find that your children's choir program automatically becomes more excellent, and you as the director did not have to do it all. So let me tell you a little bit about some of my wonderful staff in Praise Kids. Shirley is our costume person, and when her family joined our church a couple years ago, of course I did not know her, but I had heard that she knew how to sew. So I went up to Shirley, introduced myself, and said, "I heard you know how to sew. Would you be willing to make a few preschool costumes for me?" And what none of us knew is that Shirley was a master costume maker, and her costumes were better than anything that you could buy anywhere. And so that's how we got Shirley plugged into our children's choir program. She started by making costumes, and then we found out that she was great with crafts, and so she moved into our craft station, and she runs that. Not only does she do that, but as a self-proclaimed non-musician, Shirley is now the overall operations manager for our whole children's choir program. Another job that I have handed off to other people is choreography. I told you before I can't dance, but what I did is I asked 3 high school teenagers who were very responsible and who were cheerleaders to take over the choreography. And so they came in and they taught choreography to my kids every week. Not only was this great for the kids, they were getting some great instruction, it was also great for the 3 teenage girls because it gave them a ministry to serve in on a regular basis. Sherry heads up our cookie ministry. There is no one in our congregation who makes better cookies than Miss Sherry, and it's a win-win-win situation. The kids think that they're in heaven because Miss Sherry's cookies are so good. Sherry loves to do what she's good at in a ministry, and then we are all very thankful and blessed that it was not me who was making the cookies. The list just goes on and on and on of different non-musical skills that you can incorporate into your children's choir program. Maybe you know someone in your congregation who has great organizational skills, or they are very good at graphic design, or they're a great media person, or they are good at construction and can build you a stage set. Maybe there's an elderly person or a teenager in your church who can't do music at all, but they love kids. Well, then have them be a greeter and greet the children as they walk in, and you've given them a ministry, and then as a plus, every child feels welcomed and loved as they walk into your children's choir program. It's important to remember that you need to utilize the unique strengths and talents in your own congregation. Don't try to duplicate another church's skill set. Find out what the talents are in your own congregation and then tap into those. Because remember, people love to do what they're good at. And then watch your children's choir grow into something of excellence, while you as the director didn't have to do quite as much.